Welcome to episode 7. I think I recall last episode I said I was going to take a break from this car, but that obviously hasn't happened. It's been a bit of downtime at work with crap weather that's been around here, so spent a few days working on the car, which has been quite cool. We'll go over cutting the tunnel out and cutting the floor above the diff, rebuilding all that area, rebuilding it higher just to clear everything at the right height it is. Go over making some wide steel wheels. I've made some wheels purely as a mock-up. The plan is still to go with the alloys to clear the brakes, so just made some wide wheels for the back to run the big slicks so that we can sort of mock it up and whatnot. Cut the guards out, make some cardboard flares, as you can see. Yeah, sit back and take a watch. I thought I'd just put one of these front wheels on the back just for a quick look to see what it sits like without cutting the guard. It's going to be wide. That's an 8.5, and we're sort of probably going to end up about around 11. So yeah, add a few more on there, a few more inches on there. Going to make a start on cutting these rear guards out to fit the tyres. So the aim of what I'm going to do here with cutting these is, if we can see up in the inner guard here, that sort of crease line is the very top of the inner guard. So ideally I want to cut this outer skin on the same radius as that, and then so cut it right off so the whole wheel tub is as high as it can go, and then I'll plate it all out, what I cut off, and weld it up, and then we can build a flare on the outside of that. So I'll do a rough cut first, probably just cut that sort of main arch off, and that'll give me a good view of what's going on in there, because quite often there's a couple of skins or some brackets in there. So we'll chop that off first and have a look, and then can mark out where to sort of cut to get a good finish line. Do a quick cut of that outer arch off, so you can sort of see where it's separated the skins a bit there now. So what I'll do is I'll retain that little bit of a lip there, so the door, the rubber on the door seals on, and then from about that point there it'll end up the radius, get it cut a little bit higher just to match that inner, like I said. Having a muck around with some cardboard on a Saturday arvo, sort of getting some ideas of what I kind of want it to look like. Big work style fender, big rear wing, probably have a big chin spoiler as well. A little bit different to Group C style that I might have said at the start, but I think with how wide it's going to be, this will be the sort of style of flare it needs. Going to do a bit of cutting of the body to get some clearance for the diff and the exhaust and whatnot. So as I mentioned in an earlier video, going to be cutting the floor out there for the exhaust tunnel, so we're going to do that. The floor there needs to get raised for the diff head, as the top of the diff's hitting it at the moment and it's sitting at about right height. Going to have to cut the tunnel there for the drive shaft to clear it, and like at the back of the gearbox tunnel there, just raise that a little bit. So there's a bit to chop out and a bit to remake, but yeah, start cutting holes and see how it looks. She will give me strength so I can got the car sitting back down on the ground just to go over a bit of ride height stuff and whatnot, and then I attacked the floor, cut some big holes, tunnel everywhere bar the handbrake setup, all above the diff there. Cut the exhaust tunnel out there. I'm pretty happy with the height it's sitting at. It's about where I was aiming for, but most places are workable, except these rear passenger footwells hang lower than anything else in the car, and you've got to see there that footwell is actually about 10 mil off the ground. So once I've welded new panels into these for the tunnel and the floor and whatnot, I actually might look at chopping these footwells out and raising them up, or else it might be bye-bye toes when we drive it. So most of this is going to be reasonably straightforward, or very similar to just doing the gearbox tunnel anyway. So I'll just be bridging that gap. The reason I didn't do there is because that's actually a bit higher, and it would have meant having to remake all the bits under there, so it should work without cutting that bit, which is good. Same again there, little tunnel. This main cross member here, I've managed to retain the top of it. I might try out a bit more strength later, but I'll make the tunnel go from there to the back. You know, it'll just slip up under that and weld in, so that's not too bad. Over the diff here, I'm going to sort of give it maybe about 40 mil above the top of there. Yeah, the only thing here is I've cut this. See, there was a cross member underneath the body, so I'm going to have to remake that somehow, so it'll probably end up being on top of this. The only thing I want to try to do is keep all this as slim as I can, because I want to try and keep the seat. So the diff obviously needs clearance, but if I can keep the seat, it would be a bonus. You also might notice that the diff in this is a bit offset compared to where the original one was. The original diff had the actual diff head offset in the diff, so the pinion was in the middle, but this Toyota diff is obviously not like that, so this tunnel's actually on a bit of an angle, but it's all good. And the exhaust tunnel will just be a bit of a right angle fold and fill in that gap, and it raises it to the original tunnels, or the original exhaust tunnel's height. I'll just tack it to the floor there for now. I'll weld the top part here fully, but I'll just tack it there, and then once I've done all of this, I'll look at, like I said before, raising this floor and the floor there, get it off the ground. So I've got to make a bit of a plan of attack for this area above the diff. A bit involved, just mainly because I've cut that sort of cross member up there and I want to bring it back to factory strength. So this cross member here, the back on the diff here, I've had to cut the flange right off it, and it's normally spot welded there, so I'm going to weld that completely together first, which is all good, and then made these plates here, which, so those will cap that crossmember off there, and the other end of it there, that'll cap those off. Most of these tunnel pieces and replacement floor sections I'm making are out of 1.2mm steel. But so what I'm going to do here, once I've welded those end caps on, I'm going to, it's actually double skinned in all this area where the seat belt mounts are, so I'm going to make this bit in here maybe out of probably 2 or 3mm steel, and it'll come up on the same sort of plane that the original back seat was on, and I will try and remake a bit of a cross member, probably the bottom of it being the height of the top of that, so be a bit of a bridge over that gap. So we'll do that first, make that sort of bridge cross member, and then I can fill in just back with 1.2 in here to cover the top of the diff. It only needs to probably be, 40-50mm above the diff here there, so it's not huge, but yeah, it was obviously hard on it before. For the storm to come, and though my people may not be many, we are ready to be strong as one. And though my people travel light, they are willing to fight the fight, and to fight the fight. And though my people may not be many, we are ready, yeah. We got to find a way, let it be done, let it be done. So we've got the first piece of the cross member tacked in there, bit of a bridge over where the diff will go. So the next piece to go in is this piece that slots in there, and then I'll bridge between them underneath, and then there'll be a bit of a box that goes over top of the whole lot, and the tunnel will come up to meet that. So I've got the cross member all finished up, and the lid to go on it. Got the last piece of the puzzle for this tunnel and floor area. Folded that up last night. Just got to trim this to suit and weld that in place. Got all the gearbox tunnel, drive shaft tunnel and diff clearance all sorted now, all welded in, all finalised. I may have missed a few steps and whatnot for video, but I did a lot of it at night, and although I can see what I'm doing, the video at night time doesn't come through very well, so exhaust tunnels through there. I'm still thinking of doing these rear passenger footwells, raising those a little bit, so still more to do, but I'll probably come back to that. So for mocking up on this Mazda, we're going to need some wheels. Really need wheels so I can finalise ride height and guards and sort of work out what size lips I need to get to turn these SSRs into a wide wheel. So we're going to make some wide steels. These steel wheels are 13s off a Toyota Corolla, off my old Toyota Corolla actually. So I'm going to run through how to widen them really. I've done them before, and you can do it quite crude with pretty basic tools, pretty much a welder and a grinder and some way of rolling the steel. I've got a few bits and pieces I've made over the last couple of years that just helps, so I'll sort of explain maybe both ways as I go. So first thing really, I've cleaned these rims up a little bit. I'll clean them up some more once they get split. But so to make them wider, what we need to do is we need to split the front lip off from the rest of the wheel. So if we turn the wheel here, if I can get it to a point, you'll see where the centre's been plug welded. There's a circle there obviously. So those are all plug welds that have welded the centre to the rim. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this lip off, and I'm going to cut it just shy of these plug welds, so that the plug weld is still welding the back half of the rim to the centre. You can do this a few ways. If all you've got is a grinder, you can simply do it by hand. You're going to be pretty accurate, but you can do it. You just need a nice scribed line around it to that's even the entire way. So to do that, you can simply lay your rim down, even just find yourself an appropriate block of wood with your something to scribe it, and spin the wheel as you go. And as long as you're keeping your scriber at a set height off the table, it's going to be accurate. So you can do it as simple as that, or what I've got is I've actually made this machine here, which used to be for polishing wheels. Just raided an old broken axle out of the scrap, an old motor and pulleys out of a washing machine, and some scrap bearings and housings. So it used to just be a wheel polisher for polishing lips, but I've modified it to cut outer lips off. So this pretty rudimentary looking setup. It's just simply to get the grinder in the right position for different size wheels. So don't actually need to use the motor for this, or just turn the wheel by hand. But what it means is that the grinder can be turned on, set to where I want to cut the wheel, and just by hand, just spinning the wheel as the grinder slowly cuts it off. You do want to be pretty careful when you cut the lip off, because you want to cut through the thickness of the lip, which is about 3mm, but you don't want to be cutting into the centre. So we'll cut one off and film it and see how it goes. We're going to be turning these wheels into a 12 most likely. We've already got the 8.5s on the back there, but that's with the front tyre on there, so we need some wider wheels for the back tyres, which are bigger. 12, to be honest, is probably going to be too wide, but I kind of want to just do it for the sake of it. Yeah, want to do it that wide. See if a tyre goes on. Quite likely it might not, but whatever, they'll end up just being display wheels anyway, so it's all good. But at least I know if I do a 12 and the tyre is too stretched, doesn't go on or whatever, I know that I'm definitely not going that wide when I get some alloy wheels made. The other way, which I didn't actually say about splitting these rims, like I said, by hand or something like that I've made, the best and obvious way, if you've got the gear to do it, is just with a lathe. I have a lathe, which you would have seen in some early videos, but it's not big enough to swing a wheel. So if you've got access to a big lathe, then that's 100% the best way to do it. But if you don't, then you just got to improvise. Got the outer lips parted off, wheels all buffed up and V'd out where the weld's going to go, on the centre there and on the lips. So these wheels are a 4.5 inch wide. I'm going to go 12, so we're going to need an extra 7.5 inches. So I'll take the tape measure around the centre, get the distance the band needs to be in circumference, and out of this 3mm sheet here, cut some strips that are 7.5 inches wide by whatever distance it is around, plus a little extra, as when you roll it you end up with a couple of flats at each end. So cut some strips out and put it in the roller and make some bands. the barrel spun up. You can see there one end of that bottom end there is quite flat, so the roller does that on both ends. I've already chopped the flat off this end here, there was extra flat there, so what I'm now going to do is set the lip on there. I'll go around and tack it up, making sure it's all flush, bring it around, and then once you get to here I'll cut this flat off in line with the other lip there, so we can get it buttered up nice, get it all tacked up, and then it'll slip over the centre there. And because when we're going to cut away the lip there, because I cut it as far back down the centre as I can, the barrel will then actually be a snug fit around that original centre, and then we'll be able to tack that on, chuck it back on the wheel polisher thing and spin it up, make sure it's true, and weld it up. First thing I do before I go any further is grind a 45 on both ends of this barrel and get rid of the mill scale on it, just so that it gets good penetration when I weld it on. So that's the roll barrel all tacked to the lip. Takes a bit of fiddling, as you would have seen, using that strap there and hammer, just trying to get it nice and flush the whole way around. Jesus, that's some girth. So just press that down. It's a pretty snug fit over the centre there. I'll tack it on. You might not be able to see it here, but there's a little bit need pushing in a few places. Just being such a deep barrel, it's hard to get it with a perfect roll. But pretty good, really. Got the wheel tacked together and back on the wheel polisher. Give it a spin, and it's pretty true, really. A little bit of run out, but I'm pretty happy considering 7.5 inches went into it. So I put the tyre on, try pumping it up, and she's a no-go. So I've only done the one wheel because I figured I might have to make them narrower. So I'll take the tyre back off and put this wheel back on the polisher and split it, and I'll take an inch out of them and I'll cut the other one down an inch before I weld it up. I know these tyres go on a 13 by 11, so yeah, we'll just go with that. These wide steels that you can't see here, the mounting lips on them are really small when you widen them right out, so and it always is quite hard to get to stretch a tyre onto a wide steel. If they're an alloy with a bigger mounting lip, they might be a bit easier, but yeah, these are no go. Look cool though. Now the 11's got a tyre on all mounted up, so I think that'll be the width I settle on. 12 was just too big, although it would have been cool, but yeah, hey, it's only an inch. Yeah, should be a good fit. Run with those on the back and 9 on the front. Use these steels to mock it all up, and then hopefully not too distant future we get some alloys made that'll clear the brakes. So where to go from here, I suppose. Although I did say I need to take a bit of a break from this car, I'm still sort of waiting on finding parts and getting some bits for this KP Starlet. So once I get my hands on them, I will take a bit of a break from this Mazda and finish that car up. But as it is, I might as well just keep working on the Mazda while motivation's high to work on it, and there's some free time. So from here, might look at building the exhaust. Like I said previously, twin stainless pipes right to the back with a megaphone or two on the back of it. Really need to finish up the back guards, cut all the steel work out, but rebuild that, and it'd be real cool to start doing some aesthetic stuff on it, some flares and wing and whatnot, but I think I should probably leave it till a later date, but we'll see. Plans don't always work out. Thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching. Yeah, comment if you like what you see, or if you want to see some different stuff. It's actually quite good fun making these videos, so I'll keep doing it, hopefully. That's the plan anyway. Cheers.